Hi, welcome to the Bonita Springs Area Chamber of Commerce podcast. I'm Tiffany Esposito, President and CEO, and I'm here with Adam, who's running for District 2 Bonita Springs City Council. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So we'll run through a few questions. If you want to just kick it off and tell us about yourself and tell us how long you've lived in Bonita and what your involvement in the community has been.
Okay. I moved down here with my parents when I was 6 years old. We moved from Pontiac, Michigan, down here after shoveling snow for a very, very long time. I went to Spring Creek Elementary as a kid and Bonita Middle and Estero High School. And I eventually, after working, doing residential interior-exterior painting for a while, a buddy of mine got me into the fire department. He said it's the best job in the world. And so I ended up getting into the fire department, and I'm currently in year 13 there, and I'm a lieutenant paramedic at the Bonita Springs Fire Department. So I've lived in the community. I grew up in the community, and my family lives in the community. My wife works in the community, and I've been in and out of your streets for as long as I can remember.
Awesome. And why are you running for city council?
I'm running for city council. If you were to drive up and down the streets of my district, District 2, and just take a look around and take everything in, I really believe that I am who our district is. I'm a working class family man that is, just trying to make the community better. I understand that I'd like to diversify the board and, have the family working class point of view be brought up at city council.
Great. Tell me about your thoughts on downtown redevelopment.
The downtown redevelopment. I really, I believe they did an excellent job, like renovating the streets, just beautifying the area, I guess you could say. If you asked me what my vision of it would be, I would say that it needs to be, you need to take the historic history of Bonita and implement like that down there. Like you have the Shangri-La that's down there. I believe if you put like a seafood restaurant, you could call it like Weeks Fish Camp, like seafood restaurant. You need to take the history that we have in this area and implement it down there, and that's when it becomes unique, is when you're taking what you have in this area and keeping it down there and, using what you got. Like we have a lot of golf courses, maybe put like a little, like a tavern or something down there called the 19th hole that everybody plays golf. You know what I mean? Like this is the stuff. It needs to be an evening out. Mm-hmm. It doesn't need to be one thing, you go down there and do this and leave. Like you need to come down there and there needs to be someone playing a guitar at a little bar and coffee shops and, arts and cultural paintings. And I mean, you need to go down there and it needs to be an evening out, not just to stop by, see something and leave,
Absolutely. Awesome. So the food truck ordinance has been getting a lot of media and attention lately. How do you feel about that?
I see it two ways. I mean, if you look in the surrounding area, it's trending. Food trucks are trending. I mean, you can literally just go to a location and have a choice of 13 to 15 to 20 different options, and you can taste a little bit. Like, it's definitely a very, very smart idea. The ordinance, I understand stuff slips through the cracks, and I guess they hadn't been adhering to it from 2012. It happens. I believe it needs to be. If they can allow it there, I mean, that would be another perfect thing. That would be like downtown. Like Momentum should technically be downtown, because Momentum started in Bonita. It's been there. That is another perfect thing that would enhance downtown. You know what I mean? And with noise ordinances, just the food trucks, it needs to be there.
Great. What role do you plan on playing in the existing council, and what causes or organizations would you most likely be involved with?
My role in the existing council, I would just like to be, like I said, the working class man that diversifies the board, and just brings the needs and concerns of my district there. I'm very approachable. There's definitely a bunch of ways that I'm out in the town. Every third day I'm out driving around in a fire truck doing everything underneath the sun, because we're very, very involved in the community. The Bonita Springs Fire Department is. My causes is I'm obviously a member of Local 3444. They do muscular dystrophy. They do the parade. The parade's ran by Local 3444. I'm very, very sports oriented. I grew up outside. I did everything outside, and everything that I'm involved in typically with these causes is like the Wounded Warrior. I play the softball with the Wounded Warriors when the games are here. I play every year with Citrus Park. We have a running battle with Citrus Park softball. We do kickball with the graduating kids from Bonita Elementary and Bonita Middle School. It's just all very fun and fulfilling things to do. That's the realm of my life I'm in right now. I got 3 kids, 5 and under, and that's the realm of my life right now. I want to, make sure this town is, the best for them.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. What will you do to help improve regional economic development?
Regional economic development. I know they already do. The city gives money to do the regional to bring like Hertz and all these affluent big businesses down here. That I think they should like triple or quadruple that, because when businesses are doing good, everybody is happy. When the economy is good, everybody is happy. Like minuscule problems become the big thing, They've done an excellent job. So far, they've done an excellent job from what I can understand, just, bringing these empty parcels and getting businesses into them, because the businesses are the community. That's a big essential part of the community is businesses and networking, and it helps develop leaders and just everything that we're kind of going through right now in my personal life, as I'm in the fire department and I serve the community, and to me this is the next step of like serving, and it's just this the Chamber of Commerce, that's what it does, is it sets another standard to keep gauging yourself and pushing yourself forward.
Fantastic. What do you think is one of the next steps we should take to improve our transportation problems on a local level?
I know they've got a lot of things in the work. They've been doing studies. They have plans to reroute some of the traffic at Bonita Beach Road and 41. No one has the exact answer on what the fix is. I can say one thing, you can say another thing, and who knows who's correct. Honestly, you do what you think is in the best interest of the city. With traffic, we are growing. If you just look around our community, we have 3 giant apartment/condos going in that are 10 to 12 buildings, and that's more traffic coming in. We have gated communities, more being built out east. Estero is taking off. Naples is taking off. This area is taking off. And just as if I were in the city council position, transportation is one of the number one needs. You need to be able to navigate the city unhindered. I went to pick up my son at daycare, and I sat in traffic for 40 minutes, and I'm talking like 4 miles. Mm-hmm. Now that's not every day, but you don't do it on what's status quo and how it's the everyday. There's issues, there's accidents, there's everything that cause this traffic backups, not just the congestion. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. People people travel, a lot of people work in Naples. They don't live in Naples. So you're taking time away by not keeping this stuff up to date. You're keeping time away from people's families when they're trying to get home. They're sitting in traffic for an hour. Like I kind of think of it in that realm. I'm going to make the most logical and common sense decisions.
Fantastic. So if elected, what are 3 key issues you'll focus on?
One of the main ones, and especially you would know this as well as I do, just having a general good water quality. If it's blue-green algae or if it's red tide, that stuff deters tourists. It deters people from moving here. That needs to be out, and there needs to be activism on. Everybody needs to know this. Golf courses, maintenance companies, large farming, everything needs to know that this is going to affect our whole area. They've done, they do the not fertilizing from, May to August, which obviously helps. I mean, I know the Imperial River doesn't really have too much of a problem with blue-green algae. Like red tide, it's just, they've got to figure out how to get these nutrients and stuff out of the water and find where the big problem is. And, we've done a good job. I think they've done a really good job with, just having the filtration systems that dump into the river. And they have done a very good job and are keeping a good eye on water quality. Flooding. I understand there's no fix to the flooding. I've seen all the surveys and everything they've done. They're saying you spend $68 million in the area will still flood. It just won't flood as much. My house, my area was underwater for 8 weeks. I pushed my family in on a canoe and waders for 8 weeks in and out. And you don't realize how much you leave the house when you're doing that for 8 weeks, There is a lot of things, just general maintenance, keeping the flowways clear, changing some size of culverts. There's a lot of things that you can do to alleviate the flooding. Not necessarily change it. That water wants to take the path of least resistance. Obviously, we're the path of least resistance. It floods when you get 10 inches of rain in Bonita, and you get 10 inches of rain in Lehigh, and you get 10 inches of rain in Fort Myers. It's going to find that area. So you can't really, unless they figure out a way to send it south, which I don't know why Naples would want the water either, you know what I mean? So I understand, but we need to at least be up with that and maintain all this stuff and keep it up to date, essentially.
Absolutely.
The other thing is, I talked a little bit about, the downtown renovation and how I think it is, but I really think for me personally, I think our parks and rec really needs to be looked at. They redid the park over there at Pine Avenue. Just a prime example would be I went there the other day. We ate dinner, went there at about 5:50, 6 o'clock, and there's 10 to 12 kids with their parents there playing at the park in the dark. There's no lights there. I mean, you got to remember that with the time change and everything, dawn to dusk is very early, and these people get home and their kids have energy and they need to get out, and lights need to be installed there. Kids, when left to their own devices, will find things to do. Idle time's the devil's playground. So if they need things to do, when we do stuff, we typically go to North Naples and Estero because they have, parks that range, and they're, not just toddlers. It's, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12-year-olds have things to do at these parks. Like that, the pool. The pool hasn't been renovated or touched since I've been here. I know they were planning at one point in putting a splash pad there. This is all stuff that if you want a community outside the gated community, that's where people need to congregate and get together and mix, and like everybody. That's just my personal opinion on that, So
Great.
kind of lost where I was going with that after that.
No, you're doing great.
When I was rambling on, I kind of lost where my train of thought.
Do you have any closing comments?
If I had closing comment, I would say drive around. I'm running for the vote in District 2. If you drove around and just looked around and look at what's going on in District 2, who your voters are, I feel like the working class family is who I'm there to represent. I feel like I am that, and I feel I really would bring a point of view that is really not voiced or vocalized to City Council. And I know we've got a ton of things that needs to be addressed. We need to just find one thing, fix it, move on to the next thing. When everything's a priority, nothing's a priority. So thank you for having me, and I appreciate your time.
Thanks for being here, and good luck in the election.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Chamber Chat. Don't forget to tune in next Tuesday for a brand new episode. You can find us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all major podcast platforms. Don't forget to subscribe.